Hello everyone, hope you are doing great. Again, this is Muhammad Sabas from OK Academy. This is the third, lesson of syntax. Today we will talk about words, word classes, as also known as parts of speech, and the phrases as well. Today's lesson's content includes words, nouns and determiners, adjectives, verbs, prepositions, adverbs, conjunctions, and interjections as well. So if we define words, we can simply say words are the smallest building blocks of syntax. And then words are syntactically different from each other or one another. Linguists have proposed various ways of classifying words. As you know, each language consists of a very massive number of words, and these words are categorized depending on their characteristics. So we have 8 parts of speech or 8 word classes. They are divided into open classes and closed classes, as you can see here. So open class is a class of words that's constantly enlarged, like it means we can add new words. The open class encompasses verb, noun, adjective, and adverbs, while a closed class is a class of words that is static. Static. It means it's stable, we cannot add new words to these classes. So the main word classes like nouns, adverbs, adjectives, and verbs are considered to be open classes, while others are closed classes. We have nouns, determiners, adjectives, verbs, prepositions, adverbs, conjunctions, and interjections. These are the word classes in English language. So let's talk about the first, which is a noun and the determiners. And as previously, nouns were defined as words that denote people, animals, things, and places. So we can simply, define noun as a word that refers to a person, animal, thing, or place. But there's an issue with this definition of nouns. The definition leaves a great number of words uncounted for, which could also be said to belong to the class of nouns. There are many things which are not, let's say, people, animals. They are not things or places, but they are still considered to be nouns. And these include words that denote abstract ideas or concepts, like death. Death is a noun, but it doesn't refer to a person, animal, thing, or a place. Sincerity, again, success, happiness, love, dizziness, pain. These are all, all of them belong to the class of nouns. So a perfect or a better definition for language could be: nouns are words that denote people, animals, things, places, and abstract ideas or concepts. This is a better definition for noun. So how to recognize a noun? We have the morphological criteria and distributional criteria as well. So let's start with the morphological criteria. Nouns end with certain suffixes. So we have certain suffixes. If we see these suffixes with a word or attach it to a word, we can say this word is a noun. So these suffixes include ans, hood, like in brotherhood, ness, just like these examples, kindness, wildness, darkness, shin, sheep, and etc. Another characteristic of nouns, a morphological characteristic, is that nouns take plural endings. Unlike other words, unlike other word classes, nouns can take plural endings. Like if you have the word student, you can say students. But if you have a word like an adjective happy, you cannot say happies. So nouns can take plural and singular ending as well. Another characteristic is nouns have genitive ending, like the man's car, sister's camera, and so on. And then we have distributional criteria. What do we mean by distributional? It means recognizing a noun depending on where it occurs in the sentence, depending on the position of the word in the sentence. So in order to recognize a noun, the morphological criteria is not enough. However, morphological criteria is only of limited value. For example, many nouns do not end in any of the typical nominal suffixes, like we have arm. Arm is not, let's say, ended with any kind of suffixes, but it's still a noun. We have book, rain, sleep. Look at sleep, the word sleep. Sleep is a noun, it does not have any suffix, and it does not take plural ending as well, but it is still a noun. That's why we can say the morphological criteria is not enough. Good. And a better approach is to characterize nouns using distributional criteria. Under this view, look at the shape words that can take. So the shape that words can take, like at where they occur in the sentences, this is the distributional criteria, and at the way they behave and function in sentential patterns. So depending on the distributional criteria, nouns can be preceded by determiners like the, a, the articles, these, that, those. I mean, like demonstrative pronouns and etc. Determinants specify more precisely the meaning of the nouns they precede. So a noun can come after one of the determiners, and then nouns can also be preceded. Do you see there is another thing. They can be preceded by adjectives as well. For example, when you say big, you can say a big house. So adjectives precede the noun. Difficult, strong, as a big house, a difficult problem, strong walls. These are words that in some way modify the nouns they precede. So one of the functions of, or we consider adjectives, is to give information about the noun they precede. And now word class is defined by characterizing the environments that the members of that class typically occur in. For example, no word class other than a noun could occur in the blank of the sentence. The dash. What do you mean here? We mean that they cannot be used interchangeably. So where or when you need a noun somewhere, you cannot fill like the gap with another word class. They cannot be used interchangeably. I mean the word classes. You cannot use a verb instead of a noun or adjective instead of an adverb. This is something that we have to take into consideration. And we also have the types of nouns. I would like to mention them briefly. I'm not going to talk about them in detail. We have common nouns like we have common nouns and proper nouns. Common nouns are used for something in general, like we have river, city. We don't specify the noun. It's a common noun. And then we have proper noun, which it refers to a specific person or specific place, like Erbil, London, Sarah, Ahmad. These are proper nouns. We have countable nouns, something that we can let's say count. When we say cat, we can say one cat, two cat, three cat. So these nouns are countable nouns. And then we have butter, flower, jump, soap. Those kind of nouns belong to the non-countable nouns. And we also have numerals, I mean numbers like cardinal numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and etc. And ordinal numbers like first, second, third, and so on. Good. In this slide, I want to talk about the pronouns. We have many types of pronouns. Personal pronouns like subject and object pronouns. I, you, we, they, he, she, it, me, you, her, him, it, us, them, and so on. Then we have possessive nouns like my, mine, and so on. Reflexive pronouns when you want to emphasize on an action. For example, I did it myself. Or when the subject and the object are the same person, like I looked at myself through the window. So I am the subject and the object at the same time. So that's why I have to use the reflexive pronouns. And then we have demonstrative pronouns when you want to point something or things like this, these, that, those. We have reciprocal pronouns, each other, one another, when two things impact on each other. Or so what is the difference between each other and one another? We use each other when we talk about two things, like the Ahmed and Sarah talk to each other. And then we have one another when we have more than two things. For example, the students. We have a number bigger than 2. The students discussed the lecture among one another. Let's say themselves, sorry. We can say they talked with one another. And then we have relative pronouns like that, who, which, whose, and etc. Interrogative pronouns, why, what, where, whatever. And then we have indefinite pronouns when we don't know the subject, like anybody, anyone, anything, no one, nothing, somebody, someone, something, and etc. I just wanted to mention the types of pronouns briefly. And then we have noun phrases. We can define noun phrases as strings of words whose central element is a noun. So noun phrase is a string of words, maybe 2, 3, 4 words together. The central element of this string of words is a noun. And all the following are therefore noun phrases, like the hats, the hats. Let's say this phrase consists of 2 words while it functions like a noun phrase. The blue hats is still one noun phrase. The blue hats on the shelf, it's still one noun phrase. And the central word is the hat, which is the noun. As it has been mentioned before, a string of words whose central element is a noun. So the word the blue on the shelf, all these words together serve the word hat. They all give more information about the hat. So this phrase, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the 6 words together are considered to be a single noun phrase. We can refer to the central element in the phrase as its hat. So when we say the blue hat's on the shelf, the hat is the central element. We can call it head, the head of the noun phrase. Good. And then we have hats alone. Hats have always been fashionable. So hats alone is the noun phrase. Noun phrase could be either one word or let's say a sequence of words, like these hats together is a noun phrase, have always been fashionable. Hats that you buy in Harrods together is a noun phrase. And then we have always been fashionable is the predicate of the word sentence. Sorry. Good. And here we have adjectives. Adjective is a word that modifies a noun. It gives information about the noun, like a constructive criticism, beautiful city, a happy ending, a nice day. You can see it precedes the noun and it gives information about the noun. Like when we say a beautiful city, beautiful is information provided about the city. Characteristics of adjectives. We have the first characteristic, which is they end with certain suffixes, for example, full, less, and if. This is the morphological characteristics. Like the adjectives happy and nice, however, can make clear that not all the adjectives have such endings. So it's not a condition that an adjective should be ended with full, less, or if. This is true for some adjectives, but not all of them. Another characteristic is most of the adjectives are gradable. We can measure them. They can be preceded by words such as very, extremely, less, a little bit, very helpful. So helpful here is the adjectives, but it has been, let's say, preceded by the word very. It's something okay, and it is not against the rules. Extremely nasty. Nasty is the adjective, and extremely, which is an adverb of degree, precedes the adjective. But there is a note. The materials and nationality are still considered to be adjectives, but they cannot be preceded by such words like very, extremely, or less. I can say a wooden floor This is an adjective, let's say noun phrase. A noun has been modified by the adjective, which is the wooden, but we cannot say a very wooden floor. And then we have nationality, which is an adjective like I am Russian, but I cannot say I'm very Russian. These kind of adjectives are not gradable. Another characteristic that differentiates or sets the adjectives apart from other word class is that adjectives can take comparative and superlative endings. Like you cannot say Sarah, Sarah are, or the more Sarah. It's not possible, right? But for the adjectives, you can do it. It's possible. You can. The adjectives can take comparative and superlative ending. That's one of the characteristics that distinguishes adjectives from other word classes. Look at this example. Great can be greater, greatest. Full can be fuller, fullest. Good becomes better, best. But you cannot say like Jack, jackest. This is not, let's say, possible. And then we have distributional characteristics of adjectives, just like the noun phrases. We say distributional characteristic. When we mention the word distributional, we mean it's concerned with where the word occurs. So generally, adjectives take two places, or they occupy two positions in English. First is attributive. When an adjective precedes a noun, it comes before a noun in a noun phrase, like a wonderful view. Wonderful is the adjective and the view is the noun. So this is the first, let's say, distributional characteristic of adjectives. And then we have predicative. When an adjective follows a so-called linking verb, we have linking verb or copula. It is said to occur in predicative position. The examples of linking verbs are the verb to be, is, are, was, were, will be, appear. The forms of be, become, feel, look, remain, seem, smell, sound. These are examples of linking verbs, like she is crazy. So the adjective can be preceded by a linking verb. And so in this case, we can say this adjective is a predicative adjective. It's pretty simple. And then we have another note, like nouns in noun phrases. Adjectives function as heads of adjective phrases. So we have adjective phrases as well. Is something possible? Like happy is an adjective, extremely happy is an adjective phrase. And the word happy is the head of the adjective phrase. We say the head of a noun phrase is a noun, and the head of an adjective phrase could be an adjective. And it's important to note that adjective phrases can occur within noun phrases. Look at this example. The happy actor is a noun phrase, and then we can say the extremely happy actor. So we have from the till the end, actor. We can say the extremely happy actor together is a noun phrase, and extremely happy is an adjective phrase that occurs within the noun phrase. Good. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will be talking about verbs and the rest of the word class in next videos, inshallah, because I don't want to make the videos too long. That's why I'm going to divide this lecture into maybe 2 or 3 videos.